What's up, everybody? Welcome to Among the Fence. My name is Aaron. Today we're check out the new album, Immortal Binding by My Dying Bride. This is the 14th LP from the British doom metal band in their 34 years of existence. It's rare that I get to say a band doesn't have a bad album, but My Dying Bride really doesn't. A fan favorite being their 7th release, The Dreadful Hours, which came out in 2001. But arguments can be made for about 5 other albums on which one is truly the best. And it's very impressive considering that they haven't really changed their sound that much over the years. They don't really experiment that much, but that's kind of what makes them so consistent. They're really good at writing songs, and doom metal is the thing that they're the best at. And honestly, doom metal fans don't really care that much if, different songs don't come with different bells and whistles to them. This can pose a problem though, because sometimes bands can become a little too comfortable, a little too formulaic, and they can end up writing basically the same thing over and over and over again. But with the opening track, Her Dominion, it really lets you know right away that this is not the case, with its War Pigs-like intro that transitions into a really thick riff with snarling vocals separated by very atmospheric lead guitar parts. It just flows directly into the next song, Thornwick Hymn. It's got an old school riff and melody in the intro that just sounds so good. The drums really help push the verses along with steady cleans, and this song is about as doomy as it gets, with very little changes. The instrumentation does break up the different sections and adds a little bit more to this journey, makes it feel not so monotonous and the same thing over and over again. And the gentle vocal change in the outro is an absolutely brilliant touch. The second of 3 Bells continues this melancholy kind of atmosphere with a clean acoustic intro, which is just very saddening. The riff in the verse, however, does feel a little hopeful. That is very quick to change though, and I believe that the lyrics in this song portray the early loss of a lover, and the bridge gets really aggressive as now the story is starting to tell of the angel who's getting ready to ring the final bell, which ushers in the following track. It's a very heavy song titled Unthroned Creed. The riff is super chunky, and the vocals have somehow become more theatrical, if that was even possible. The chorus does slow things down a bit, and it keeps that transition going into verse 2. It's very progressive, and it has a really strong focus on the storytelling aspect. Then we have my favorite song, Apocolyptist, which is the longest song on this album, coming in at almost 11 and a half minutes long. It tricks you into thinking it's going to be pretty mellow, but the distorted vocals and the climbing riff are directly in your face, with the lead guitar screeching right along. And much like Unthroned Creed, it doesn't really hide its progressive nature at all. The bridge has a nasty riff to match the vocals, and it also signals a turning point in the story. It doesn't really take long for it to go right back to being really dark though, and feeling just a lot of despair. Like I said, this is easily my favorite song on this album, as it just gives you a little bit of everything you can possibly want from this band. A Starving Heart has a really pretty intro, and honestly, when the distorted guitar comes in, that doesn't really change. It's still very pretty sounding. It's nice and slow with tons of cymbals and a long, drawn-out riff. The drums do get a little bit more aggressive as the vocals get a little bit more growly. The music just continues to evolve as this song goes on, with the vocals being the only steady point, which gives this song, again, a little bit more of a progressive feel in terms of its music, which I think is really cool and a very easy thing to do for this band. The closing track, Crushed Embers, keeps that same rhythm and melody going. It almost feels like it's the same song, just with a little break at the beginning. It does make for a really good closing track though, really letting the story shine through. However, it does make it a little tough to make it through these last 2 songs, because there's very little excitement. There's not a whole lot of things going on. Nothing changes all that much. I do enjoy the abrupt ending of this song though. I don't really know why. It just stops out of nowhere, which I think was also a nice touch given the story that it was telling. I feel like My Dying Bride did what they do best with this record. There aren't really too many frills, but at the same time, there isn't too many moments that make me want to go back and hear it again. I don't really want to go back and listen to this multiple times. The opening track, Her Dominion, showed a lot of ambition, but I feel like it wasn't really the driving force, other than the Apocolyptist, which is just absolutely fantastic song. This album does kind of feel like they were going through the motions a little bit. It did lack creativity, specifically towards the end, where it just felt like they were, like I said, being very formulaic, going through the motions. They felt really comfortable doing the same thing over and over and over again. In the beginning of this album, you don't feel that. It feels great. It feels like you're hearing something fresh from this band, even though you know, they are doing the same thing they've been doing for a very long time. Somehow they're able to keep it sounding new, but that quickly wore off as this album went on. I still did enjoy it a lot though, admittedly. But yeah, like listening to this thing, doing a review on it multiple times, I don't think I'll be going back to it again anytime soon. So with all that said, I got to give Immortal Binding by My Dying Bride a 7.1 out of 10. But I want to know what you guys think, especially if you've been a fan of My Dying Bride for quite a long time. I haven't really been. I just got into them within like the past like 7 or 8 years. So I guess that's not really a long time considering they've been around for about 34. But yeah, leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of Immortal Binding. Let me know what you rate it, what your favorite song is. And also if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. Doing something as simple as that helps out so much with YouTube's algorithm. And of course, if you want to continue to support me even further, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell icon. Doing any of those things just does so much for my channel, and I appreciate it more than you can ever imagine. And I appreciate you guys more than you can imagine. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen to me sit here and talk about music. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night, whenever you happen to be watching this, and I will talk to you guys next time.